Hey viewers! I'm back with a brand new story. Today's story is about Jack and Olivia, two strangers who met in a cozy coffee shop, shared flirty small talk every morning, and one day, a simple note changed everything. Let's see how it all began. Scene starts as the city cafe. The morning air smelled like roasted beans and wet pavement. Jack stood behind the counter, his apron slightly creased, his hands moving with quiet rhythm as he poured milk into cups. He wasn't just good at his job. There was something comforting about the way he smiled at every customer, as if he saw a piece of poetry in ordinary faces. That's when Olivia walked in. Her beige trench coat shimmered faintly under the soft light, her hair still damp from the rain. She had an elegance that turned heads effortlessly, the kind that came from confidence rather than attention. Her heels clicked softly against the wooden floor as she approached the counter, and Jack already knew what she'd order: oat milk latte, light cinnamon on top. Their eyes met briefly, just enough to make time slow for a heartbeat. She smiled, polite yet playful, and he returned it with a half grin that carried quiet mischief. Every morning after that, it became a ritual. She'd arrive around 8:15, and he'd have her drink waiting before she reached the counter. Their exchanges were short, but filled with warmth, a shared energy that neither wanted to name. Scene changes to a cool autumn afternoon. The cafe glowed in amber light. Olivia sat near the window, typing on her laptop, her brow slightly furrowed in focus. Jack stole glances between customers, watching how sunlight framed her hair. There was something magnetic about her calmness. It drew him in without a word. Sometimes their hands brushed when passing the cup, a tiny spark that lingered longer than it should. Neither of them spoke about it, but both felt it, the quiet ache of what-ifs. Scene changes to a slow golden evening. The last few customers were leaving. Olivia waited for her drink, tapping her nails lightly on the counter. Jack handed her the cup with a shy smile, but as she lifted it, she noticed a folded receipt tucked under the sleeve. She didn't open it immediately. Instead, she carried it out into the soft drizzle, the city lights reflecting on wet asphalt. Sitting in her car, she unfolded the small paper, written in neat black ink with the words, "If we're both single next year, let's go on a date." Her breath caught for a moment. The world outside blurred. It wasn't just a note, it was a confession wrapped in hope. Scene changes to that quiet night. Olivia lay awake in her apartment, replaying every glance, every smirk, every second spent across that counter. There was something dangerously sweet about it. Not love, not yet, but the beginning of something that could be. She placed the note on her bedside table and smiled softly. She didn't reply. She didn't have to. Because some feelings don't need words, they just need time. Scene changes to the next morning. The cafe hums softly with morning chatter as Olivia walks in, her hair slightly damp from the drizzle outside. Jack is already there, leaning against the counter, a playful smile waiting just for her. He doesn't say a word, but the moment their eyes meet, something quiet but powerful stirs between them. She orders her usual, pretending not to notice how his gaze lingers. But the warmth in her chest betrays her act. Every little detail, the smell of roasted coffee, the sound of milk steaming, the reflection of rain on the window, somehow feels tied to him now. Scene changes to a week later. Olivia begins arriving earlier than usual, sometimes catching Jack before the shift starts. They exchange those silent glances that say more than words ever could. A brush of fingers when handing her cup, the faintest smirk when he calls her the early bird. Slowly, the air between them grows charged, tender, and hard to ignore. Scene changes to that evening. The cafe closes early due to rain. Olivia stays behind, helping Jack clean the tables. Outside, thunder echoes across the empty street, and soft golden light spills from the ceiling lamps. For a long moment, neither speaks. The silence feels too intimate, too alive. Jack places her cup on the counter, the same one he always saves for her. A small note rests inside. She lifts it slowly, her pulse quickening. It says, "If we're both single next year, let's go on a date." Her breath catches. She looks up. He's watching her, his expression calm but hopeful. She smiles, hiding the note in her palm. Neither of them says anything, but the moment hangs there like a promise, fragile, beautiful, and uncertain. Scene changes to the next morning. Olivia arrives again, and everything feels different now. The small talk still happens. The coffee still tastes the same, but every glance carries a secret memory. Neither rushes to cross the line. Perhaps that's what makes it real. Some stories don't need words. They grow quietly in the spaces between. And somewhere in that silence, both of them know. If fate ever gives them the chance, their story will begin with that single note on a rainy night. Scene changes to a few months later. The cafe feels different now, busier, louder. But for Jack and Olivia, it's as if time slows every time they see each other. Their routine has turned into something deeper. The smiles last longer. The eye contact lingers just a second too much. There's an unspoken connection neither can escape. On a quiet afternoon, Olivia sits by the window, reading a book as sunlight filters through the glass. Jack watches her from behind the counter, memorizing every tiny detail. The way she brushes her hair back, the faint dimple when she smiles, the soft hum she makes when thinking. For him, those little things have become the rhythm of his day. Scene changes to that weekend. The cafe is short-staffed, and Olivia offers to help. The rain outside makes the streets shimmer in reflections of light. Inside, laughter fills the air as they work side by side, their movements in sync, their shoulders brushing occasionally. Every accidental touch sends a silent rush of electricity through both of them, but neither lets it show. Later that night, as they clean up, Jack walks past her, close enough that she can feel the warmth of his breath. For a second, the world feels still. The soft hum of the refrigerator, the sound of rain tapping on glass, everything fades into the background. It's not a kiss, not yet, but the air between them feels like it's holding its breath. Scene changes to the next morning. Olivia wakes up thinking of him. The thought surprises her, yet it feels right. She's never been the kind to fall easily, but something about Jack feels different. Gentle, familiar, safe. She walks to the cafe slower than usual, her mind replaying the night before. Jack greets her with that same easy smile, but this time, there's a spark in his eyes she's never seen before. It feels like both of them know something has shifted. Their story has silently crossed a line. One neither of them planned, but both secretly wanted. As the day fades, the cafe glows with evening light. Olivia sits at her usual spot, watching him move effortlessly behind the counter. She doesn't need words to know that something real has begun. The rain outside whispers softly against the glass, the same rain that brought that first note, the same rain that now seals an unspoken promise between them. Some love stories don't need confessions or grand gestures. They just need two hearts that understand the silence between them. And in that quiet space, Jack and Olivia find everything they never said out loud. Scene changes to late autumn. The cafe now smells of cinnamon and pumpkin spice, the air crisp and cool. Outside, leaves swirl in shades of gold and red. Inside, Jack and Olivia move like two people caught between friendship and something more. They've built a quiet world, glances, smiles, and shared coffee cups. But the line between them grows thinner with every passing day. One evening, the cafe is nearly empty. The world outside is wrapped in dusk. Olivia sits at the counter, while Jack closes the register. The hum of the espresso machine fills the silence. When he looks up, their eyes meet. A long, charged moment that neither dares to break. She reaches for her cup. His fingers brush hers. It's just a second, but everything inside her trembles. Scene changes to a few days later. Olivia waits for him after hours. The lights are dim, the street outside glowing with soft amber. They clean together, quietly, but every small movement feels intentional. The way she hands him a cloth, the way his shoulder grazes hers. The distance between them is vanishing, replaced by the kind of closeness that speaks without sound. As the rain begins outside, Jack walks her to the door. The smell of wet pavement mixes with roasted coffee. She hesitates, her breath visible in the cold. He watches her, waiting, his expression gentle but unreadable. The silence stretches until she finally steps closer. No words are spoken, yet the moment feels heavy, almost like a confession. Scene changes to the next morning. Olivia wakes up smiling for no reason. The memory of his nearness lingers in her mind, like warmth that refuses to fade. At the cafe, she finds another note tucked under her cup. Just a small doodle of a coffee heart, and the words, "Good morning, early bird." She keeps it, slipping it into her journal where she's been saving every note since the first one. Days turn into weeks, and their world remains unspoken but full. Every shared glance feels like a promise they're both afraid to say aloud. It's love in its quietest form, the kind that grows in everyday moments. not grand gestures. Scene changes to Christmas Eve. The cafe closes early, lights glowing soft and golden. Olivia sits alone by the window, watching the snow fall. Jack approaches, 2 mugs in hand. He places one beside her, sits, and for a while, they just watch the snow in silence. No declarations, no words, just 2 hearts beating quietly in the same rhythm. Knowing that sometimes, love doesn't need to be defined to be real. Scene changes to the start of a new year. The cafe is filled with fresh energy, new customers, new playlists, and new faces behind the counter. But for Jack and Olivia, it's the same rhythm that keeps pulling them closer. Their connection has deepened beyond words, yet something in the air feels uncertain. Like a song that's reaching its final note, Olivia has started her internship downtown. She visits the cafe less often now, her schedule heavy with responsibilities. Still, she tries to stop by when she can. Each time she does, Jack greets her with that same warm smile, as if no time has passed. But when she leaves, he always watches her walk away a little longer than before. Scene changes to one cold evening. The cafe is quiet, the kind of silence that feels too big for one person. Jack wipes the counter slowly, glancing at the clock. Olivia hasn't come in for 2 weeks. He tells himself she's busy, that life happens. But part of him wonders if she's quietly moving on. Scene changes to the following weekend. Olivia finally returns, tired but glowing with excitement. Her internship is going well, she says in passing, but something about her feels different. There's confidence in her steps, a new world opening before her. Jack watches from a distance, proud yet uneasy. Somewhere deep down, he knows this might be the start of her stepping beyond their small cafe world. Later that night, after closing, he finds her old notebook on the counter, the one she used to sketch ideas and write notes. He flips through it gently. Between the pages, he finds that first note he ever gave her, the one that started everything. He smiles sadly, realizing she never threw it away. Scene changes to a few weeks later. Olivia comes in again, this time with a quiet expression. She tells him she's moving, a permanent position in another city. There's joy in her eyes, but also a flicker of hesitation, like she's torn between 2 versions of herself. Jack congratulates her, hiding the weight in his chest. That night, when the cafe lights dim and she walks out for the last time, she turns back. Their eyes meet one final time, a moment filled with everything they couldn't say. Outside, it begins to rain again, just like the day it all began. The drops hit the window softly, as if the world itself remembers. Jack stands behind the counter, watching the door long after she's gone. On the counter sits her final note, a heart drawn beside the words, "Maybe next year." He smiles, knowing that some stories don't need perfect endings. Some are meant to live quietly in memory. A soft ache, a beautiful almost. Scene changes to 1 year later. The cafe looks slightly different now. New paint, new baristas, new customers. But for Jack, every corner still carries a memory. The stool where Olivia used to sit, the window she always chose on rainy days, the cup she liked best, they all remain untouched in his mind. He's still here, running the morning shift, greeting strangers with the same easy smile. Life has settled into its rhythm again, but some days, when the first drizzle hits the window, he can almost feel her presence, like she's just outside, waiting for her coffee. Scene changes to a spring afternoon. A soft breeze drifts through the open door, and Jack wipes the counter absently. The bell above the door rings, and for a fleeting moment, his heart skips the way it used to. But it's someone else, just another customer. He laughs quietly at himself, shaking the memory away. Yet his gaze lingers on the door a second longer. Later that evening, as the cafe closes, Jack steps outside to lock up. The air smells of rain, and the city hums softly in the distance. He reaches into his apron pocket and pulls out the old note. "If we're both single next year, let's go on a date." The paper has faded, but the words still hold their quiet power. Scene changes to another city. Olivia sits by a window in her new apartment, sipping coffee from a cup that looks just like the ones from Jack's cafe. Her career is blooming, her days full of new faces and new dreams. But some nights she catches herself smiling at old memories. She opens her journal, flipping to the last page, where that same note still rests, creased and worn. Outside, it begins to rain. She glances out the window, watching the drops race down the glass, and for a brief moment, her heart drifts back to the sound of espresso machines, soft laughter, and a boy who once made her mornings brighter. Scene changes back to the cafe. Jack places the closed sign on the door and turns off the lights. The world outside glows faintly under street lamps. He takes one last look at the empty counter, then whispers to himself, not as a wish, but as a quiet truth. Some stories aren't meant to fade. They just live differently now. As the rain falls softly outside, Jack smiles. Maybe they'll meet again one day, maybe not. But deep down, both of them already know what they shared wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was a chapter that will forever belong to the rain, the coffee, and the silence that once said everything.